Well, I'm very excited because for the first time in like to be 2021's history, and right now at the Chelmsford Career Fair, we have two people on the call at exactly the same time. We've got Sharon and we've got Lorraine, and they're going to be speaking to us about recruitment. Now, recruitment might be something that you may have heard of already or you haven't heard of already, but it's something that you might want to explore post 16. Now, Pursuit Resources begin to tell us exactly what you both do, ladies. And welcome to Like to Be 2021, by the way.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm a junior because I started Pursuit 15 years ago from my 30-year long career in recruitment. Started at 2021, worked in London for a big recruitment business, and then launched my own business, as I said, 15 years ago. Well, it's very funny because Sharon and I were talking about this earlier. I actually saw an advert in a local, well, we had lots, back in my day, we had lots of publications where they would advertise jobs. It wasn't online. The lady that actually found me my first job, when I went up to London, when I left college, I got on the train, went up to London, somebody found me a job. I then, a year later, saw her advertising for recruitment, but I approached her and she said they needed somebody with experience, but I persuaded her to see me because I felt all the things they were describing in the advert about recruitment, which was all a lot to do was with personality, drive, determination, tenacious. And I thought, well, I think I'm all of those things. So I persuaded her to see me and interviewed me. And she took me on as a trainee recruitment consultant. And within a very, very short amount of time, I was actually billing more than the experienced consultants. So I think with recruitment, there is a skill set to it, as in you're finding people jobs, and you have to understand what somebody is looking to do and what they want to do. And with the companies we recruit for, we need to make sure we're not only putting the person with the right skill set, but also the person that's got the right personality and that person who will suit that culture of that business. But when it comes to being a recruitment consultant, you have to have very, very high energy levels, not be frightened of hard work, always thinking outside of the box, always thinking of the next thing, always thinking of the next client. And when you're interviewing people, always thinking of all the different opportunities and all the different clients that you speak to, who you can pick up the phone to and say you've interviewed a person that would be suitable for their company. So people think recruitment agencies that we sit here and the phone rings and somebody says, we need 5 administrators, 5 customer services people. It doesn't work like that. We have to pick up the phone. So Sharon would be somebody that would be on the telephone getting appointments with clients, that people that we know use recruitment agencies to recruit. So we have to go out and find the work. So that's where the sales side comes in. And in recruitment, people do have a bit of a thought process that it is about interviewing candidates, interviewing people and speaking to people. 50% of it is actually winning new business. So the sales element of recruitment is very, very important, that people understand that if they want to go into recruitment, that there is that side of it, going and meeting clients, which some people absolutely love and are very natural and take like a duck to water. Some people it might not suit. So it needs to be people that enjoy the face-to-face client contact and obviously phoning people and talking to people about potential new business.
And that's a really, really clear pathway actually to speak to Sharon, because it's recruitment seems to, it goes through different changes. It has gone through different changes, as you know. But actually, Sharon, the clientele that you speak to, how do you find that experience? Because it shows that there's absolutely many different sides to recruitment that learners and professionals alike can really, really think of. So I might need you to jump off unmute, Sharon, to answer that question. But how do you find this development side?
Well, I'm quite a people person, and I think being a good listener is very important. So I prefer face-to-face rather than on the telephone, but some people prefer telephone. And I find that if you engage in a conversation with people and listen about what they've got to say and what they need, then you can go away and try and find whatever is suitable for their needs. So I basically do it as, how can I say, I go in and try and be their friend. And I find that way that if you've got a common goal together, then it seems to work very well for me. But everyone's got a different angle. Some people would rather be on the phone and you know, having, what's the word? Having an easy, yeah, but not just having a telephone conversation, but having a relationship over the phone. I prefer face to face.
Face to face. And how's it been? And this is an open question for both of you. How's it been? Restriction to COVID. Both of you.
It's been the toughest. You need to pop yourself on mute. I think it's been my toughest year in my career. We only have been literally over the last few weeks been able to go and see clients. So everything that we have done through COVID has all been through Teams interviews. So what is very, very important, what Sharon has just mentioned, when you take a position from a client, so a client will phone and ask you to recruit for whatever it might be, a marketing manager, a graduate, a customer services. If we haven't been on site to that company and seen the culture of the business, it does make it very, very hard for us to recruit, to determine what that client, the sort of person that client looks for. So it's been hard. But we're now back out seeing clients, and my operations manager is with clients at the moment. She's gone to see a new client today and one of our existing clients where we have temporary workers working. So we have various temporaries out working on a week-by-week basis in different kinds of assignments. So it's just, we are so pleased to be getting back out there now.
That's good to hear. And in terms of, you know, post-COVID, what does a typical day look like for both of you? Question. In terms of post-COVID, if I was interested in the personal services that I could offer, the skills that you mentioned before, Lorraine, about being really confident, being really every day is not the same, sorry.
Never the same.
What is a day like in recruitment?
Well, in 30 years, I don't think I've ever had a day the same. And that's the truth. It is a roller coaster. Recruitment, 1 minute you're up there and you're flying high and you've won a new client and you've got lots of interviews and you're looking like you're going to place people, which means commission, lots of revenue, bonus. It all gets very exciting. And then sometimes you get a situation where that candidate will let you down at the last minute and everything goes boom, flat. So a typical day is you will always come in the morning. You look at the jobs you're working on, what candidates you're going to be interviewing, what clients you're going to be going to see. And then the phone rings and your candidate that was going on an interview at 11 o'clock has decided they're not going anymore. So your whole day will change. So that ball goes up in the air and that ball goes down there and that one goes up in the air. And we all become a bit like headless chickens and we're all running around the office, you know, saying, right, okay, my candidate's dropped out. We need this. So it's dealing with the roller coaster of emotions because you're dealing with a commodity that you cannot control, which is a person. We're not selling a desk or a chair or something that's going to go from this factory to this factory to this office. This is somebody that we're engaging with, that we cannot physically go to their house and say, you will go on that interview. They can let you down. And it's very hard sometimes to deal with that because you actually do sometimes try to take it a bit personally because you work so closely with these candidates and these people that you become part of their life. You're changing their life effectively and finding them a job. And then they let you down. But then you obviously have the lovely side that you find them a job and you start somebody in their career, or you put somebody forward that's a step up into their next role. So the rewards that you get from helping these people is immense. So there's the two sides to it, but you do have to be very thick-skinned, not take things personally, let things ride over you, and when something hits you in the face, you just pick yourself up and crack back on.
Not literally hit you in the face, by the way.
No. Even though you feel like hitting yourself in the face sometimes. Listen, I've been doing this 30 years. I had it happen to me yesterday. My week was going swimmingly, and I had somebody starting in a job that has been a real tough job to fill. It's taken me 2 months to fill it. They got offered 3 weeks ago, starting Monday. They phoned me last night. They're not starting. Decided they don't want to start. And it is really tough, really, really tough. But you pick yourself up the following morning. We've got more CVs and more interviews over. I mean, I love it, but it is Marmite. You either love it and you run with it and it takes over your world and you live and breathe it, or you can go into it and you think, whoa, this is too much. It's too overwhelming. So it does suit a certain kind of person.
So let's say I'm looking at my post-16 options. This is an open question to both of you. And there's something about me, because I really think that when you get into recruitment, you can't really compartmentalize the fact that, you have this about you. There's something about you which is really transparent and you're really good with people. And that can start from as early as secondary school, because you mentioned earlier, Lorraine, that you started the journey when you was 2021.
Yeah.
Let's say somebody has, quote unquote, something about them.
Yeah.
And they may explore the route of getting into recruitment. As a recruitment agency, what type of things would you be looking for through a traineeship like myself, coming on board and joining your company? What's the qualities?
I would look at the sort of personality of the person. I would look at the strength of their personality. And that doesn't mean somebody has to have. It's a good thing if they've got a strong personality or not a strong personality. If somebody isn't very, very confident, it can be very soul destroying with the things that I've just explained. So I would look at I would question somebody how people can sometimes deal with being let down and failure. Because everybody's a different makeup, but if people do take things personally and find things that, I think they would find recruitment really difficult, because I think they would find it demotivating.
Yeah.
And I think people, having worked in recruitment so many years, people would go home and they would then start worrying about it. What could they have done different? And it can eat away at them. So it needs to be somebody that's quite carefree and somebody that doesn't just lets things go. If something happens, that's happened. Park that there and move on with it, and how to deal with it, and how to look at that objectively.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And in terms of tips, any great tips for the students watching?
I mean, if somebody was to come into recruitment, so if we were looking at somebody as a student coming out of Chelmsford College, we would bring them into the business in a bit of more of a support role. So what we call that in recruitment is something called a resourcer. So a resourcer is somebody that would support a recruitment consultant in helping them source candidates and find candidates for the roles we're recruiting for. So they wouldn't come in and start doing sales and going out and seeing clients. There's probably about a year's training process that goes on. So they would come in, support one of the consultants, be assigned to a consultant, and if you like, become their right-hand person. And that by that, they would look at speaking to candidates, helping them find candidates for jobs, and after 2 or 3 months, start going out with one of the consultants to see clients, learn about the clients, and they would have training on how to sell Pursuit as a business and how to talk to candidates, because you are almost selling a job to a candidate and and selling the candidate to the client. So it's understanding all of those processes and understanding how to explain a a job to somebody in the right way, with it sounding interesting, and making sure that the person you have got has got the right skill set. You don't start talking to somebody about a job that's completely different to what their skill set. So there's probably 6 months. Some people come in as resourcer, and within 6 months they're a trainee consultant. It normally takes between 6 months and a year to go from resourcer, support administrator into a consultancy role.
And in terms of qualifications, if there are any is there any specific qualifications?
I had nothing. I was useless at school. Sorry, I've got to say that. I wasn't very good at school, but I did go to Braintree College and I resat my O levels and I passed those. Then I went to London.
Right.
So if you have got the right personality and drive, and you're entrepreneurial and you really want to do well, recruitment could be really good for you. Doesn't matter if you've got a first in history, a first in this, or A stars, whatever. Recruitment, it's about what's in here and what's up here and what comes out of here. is important.
And what I love about the Like to Be platform is that today we're really exploring all avenues. So actually, there is a lot of emphasis around getting the right qualifications, and absolutely we'll promote that. But there are also learners that will absolutely try, and for whatever reason, they don't obtain those grades that, you know, they may necessarily might need to go on to progress onto something else. So it's about actually being an event that can really, really flourish all
Sure,
abilities and all attributes. So
It
to
goes-
hit that is
yeah,
really encouraging.
It goes back to what Sharon said. If you enjoy talking to people, and if you find it very natural to talk to people, have a conversation, whether that is somebody that works in a shop or whether that's one of your parents' friends come round, or one of your friends' parents, and you're conversing with them, somebody that feels very, very comfortable to have a conversation with anybody about anything, get into recruitment. You'll make a fortune.
And I think it's also really, really good to stress is that, and it's a theme that we've been using throughout the day today, actually, and it's about people finding their passion points, finding something that they're really passionate about, and then the money will come. Because sometimes I find that you can earn money, but you can be absolutely miserable at the same time.
Absolutely
Finding the
right.
balance, you know?
You have to, because of the roller coaster of emotions that you go through on this journey, where you take your job, you can't, all the things I've explained, you've got to really, really want to do it and really enjoy it, because it's some days, I mean, the days fly. And as I say, I keep going back to 30 years, showing my age here, how long I've been in recruitment. Even now, 1 minute I'm doing something, it's 11 o'clock. The next minute I'm thinking, oh my God, oh my goodness, it's 5:45. I've got to leave. It's a friend's birthday and I've got to rush out the door. It overtakes you, and you go, the days just go like that. And that has never changed. I always say the day that changes, I need to come out of recruitment, but I don't know quite what else I'll be doing now at 53. But I still have
free.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Junior. But I think it's just, you have to, I love it and I still love it. My operations manager and I have worked together through our career for nearly 30 years, and she's the same. It's in us, and we live and breathe it, and it's our everything. Not for everybody, but I know lots of other people that have had the same journey as us.
So, Lorraine, where can people find out more information regarding the amazing work you're doing?
Okay, so they can go to our website, which is www.pursuitgroup.co.uk, Instagram, Facebook, phone us, ask for me, telephone number 01245362500, call me. We want people that want to get into recruitment, and we can certainly give people advice. And if recruitment isn't, but people want to get into some form of sales and it's not recruitment, again, we can offer advice. And we can offer everybody advice. And it's not just about recruitment. We can help people find jobs. That's what we're here to do.
That's really, really nice. That's a nice way to really, really end the conversation today. And I just think that it's about businesses within the area all coming together and really allowing,
all helping each other. I think with everything we've been through, Junior, everybody needs to come together. And I've spoken to quite a few of my clients to tell them what I'm getting involved with Chelmsford College, and they're really, really interested to hear how it goes, and how they can potentially engage with me to help students and help people, and we can look at work placements and things. So I've already started engaging with people. So we've all got to pull together as a community in Essex, help one another, and get out there.
Nice. I like the fire in your belly there, Lorraine. But Lorraine, Sharon, thank you very much for joining us on Like to Be 2021.
Thank you.
Thank you. So hopefully you're enjoying Like to Be 2021 at the Chelmsford Progression Fair, and it's really opening up your eyes and actually options to post-16 options that could be available to you. So there may be some students that's thinking, I've always wanted to join the police. What does the police entail? How do I get into the police force? And we're very lucky to be joined by PC Matthew Edwards, but I'm going to call him Matt, because actually it's nice to just have a conversation. I think titles, sometimes you hear it and you go, oh my days, but it's just nice to have a conversation. Thank you so much for joining us on Like to Be 2021, Matt. Okay, policing. There are so much different avenues. that the police force covers. It's not just frontline policing, there's also behind the scenes, and it's also recruitment. I mean, I can go on. In terms of your own experience, how have you found, sorry, joining the force, and how has it been for you?
I found it really productive to my life in general. I started off obviously as a student constable, and then I went on to be a normal police constable, as many of your students would expect as a normal police officer out in the streets, driving cars around, responding to incidents. And then I moved from that role into more of a community-based role on the community policing team, and worked within the communities to tackle more specified problems. And from there, I've managed to get a secondment onto the Human Resources Innovation team, where we look at things at a more of a strategic level and try and see how we can change recruitment and innovate from there, really. So I've had, even though I've only been in for 5 years, a relatively diverse career in the police so far, which is what I hoped for in the career, as I wanted it to be. I didn't want to stay in one place too long, and I wanted to experience as many avenues of work within the police as I could. So very positive from my short experience of being in the police.
But it's definitely, I think that your own journey, and I think that what you bring to the table and being able to be flexible within the role can actually bring a lot of value to the role. And, it's sometimes they say that, confidence doesn't need to be shown, and actually your own confidence of your own story is really coming across. So let's say I'm 16, or I might even be 15, or I might even be older. And I'm thinking, we'll use the scenario of frontline policing. I want to be a PC, or maybe I want to be a PCSO. What, from this point now, can I do to actively start to look at a progression within that career?
Well, you could start to be looking to the special constables. That's a good way to get a good grip on what policing is going to be. And granted, it's a voluntary role. You can obviously still pursue your own interests outside of policing if you wanted to stay at school, wanted to go to university, etc., and stay as a special constable and experience policing in that way. A lot of special constables can then go on to be fast-tracked into being a PC as well. So it helps. I mean, from my personal perspective, when I was 16, I wanted to be a police officer, and I went to college and I did a public services course, and I followed that route. And then I suppose, I'm not sure what I did. Then I went to university and diverted from the course. I ended up doing a film degree, which has no relation.
Oh, wow, that's completely different, isn't it?
Anyway whatsoever. Yeah. So, and then I pursued that for a small amount of time, and then it was always there in the background, wanting to try policing. That's a good thing about joining the police, is that I can move to this role in the HR innovation team where there's different projects I've been working on, like a body worn video project and the whole marketing side of things as well. So I can use, even though I've got a degree in film, I can still implement that in certain ways here, and my knowledge of that. So yeah, I probably didn't take the correct course in quotes into the police, but if it's something, if when you're 16 you're interested in, then you've got plenty of time to pursue it in other ways rather than just direct entry. I mean, never give up on wanting to get your education and university, etc., because it's always there for you. And yeah, that's my route into it. So if I was to give any advice to a 16-year-old, I'd say, yeah, probably go down the specials route, or if you're that dedicated, go straight for it. but yeah, consider trialing first, and then see how you feel, because it's not easy. But I suppose we'll get onto that at some point. You've probably got a question regarding that.
And in terms of, it ties in really nicely actually to my next question. What I'm seeing around the country, and I'm sure you can speak about it from Essex Police perspective, is that the police are really approachable. And I think having this conversation now on this platform, where I asked you at the beginning of the call, I said, would you want to refer you to as Matthew or Matt? And it's like Matt. And that's something that I think the organization is really working towards. And have you found that people now are becoming more encouraged to participate in conversations, in recruitment, in the whole general picture of Essex Police?
Yeah, well, I suppose it comes down to the individual and how they conduct themselves, but I've always tried to be approachable and wanting to get involved within the community as a whole and tackle issues that affect people. But again, we also live in a time where certain stories about the police and the way police are viewed aren't necessarily in a positive light, but that's something you've got to take in your stride to a certain degree, and obviously strive not to be what you are sometimes perceived as. So I've always tried to maintain to be approachable, because without people talking to us, we don't gain anything. We don't gain any information. We don't know what the issues are within our communities, what issues affecting individual people. And when we attend incidents, if we don't talk to people and we're not approachable, then we don't find out anything or what's going on. So it's always been my idea to be approachable and friendly, and maybe some people don't view the police as that as such sometimes, but that's what I always try to be, and that's what Essex Police as a whole, I've not experienced anything other than that. Everyone has been nice, approachable, and I know it's a police force where there's a structure and ranks, etc., but no one I've ever encountered has been anything but nice and helpful and wanting you to progress personally within your career, and that's why I am where I am today. I'm a secondment to a team which really hasn't got too much to do with frontline policing, but will help me progress in my career as a whole. So I've never had anything other than positive experiences with people and approachability, etc.
Nice. And let's say now I'm interested and I'm a bit iffy about my grades. If I've taken them, or I've got some kind of predictions, or I'm on track to obtain a certain criteria of grades, what do you need in terms of qualifications to start having these conversations to join the force?
Well, we're at a sort of crossroads at this point, where Essex Police is carrying over to what is called the PEQF scheme, which is different from how we've recruited before. You'll need a certain amount of A levels, of GCSEs, etc., to then you'll be allowed to. The idea is every police officer will join with a degree. That's not to say that's unattainable for some people. If you feel like your grades aren't up to snuff, that there's other avenues to go down to then get in, like the special constables, etc., and PCSOs, for example, too. So we then supply you with a degree, and every police officer will start with a degree which you don't pay for. It's paid for by us, and then you go to college, and with in partnership with Anglia Ruskin University, we then supply you with the degree, and then go on, and you're paid as well. That's the other positive.
Nice.
You're paid whilst we pay you to get a degree, and then you join the police via that route. But in relation to people worrying about their grades, there's nothing in education that can stop you. If you've failed on one thing, don't ever think it's a closed book. You can always get that reversed or work hard to get a better grade in that. It's never the end. Me personally, I never got good grades at school ever. I haven't got good grades. I know I went on to do a film degree, but that was only on the credit of my public services college course. And if you feel like your grades aren't up to stuff, never feel like that's the end for you in terms of then going on to a career in the police, because there's always something we can do. There's so many avenues to be able to get into the PEQF scheme, that if you do a little bit of research, I'm sure there's a way for you to do it. And if not, it will guide you on how to then get included into it. So never feel, especially if you're leaving school with GCSEs, that there's any closed doors.
And I think now's the right time to really start thinking about how potentially students can actually start to look at the skills that they've learned in COVID and use those as examples to actually approach organizations like yourselves, because actually it's something that we've all been through. There's been a lot of natural resilience that's been formed with oneself within the COVID situation. And actually, those are transferable skills that potential students and potential candidates can use when applying for the force? Because it seems like it's a very people-orientated role. Regardless of where you go within the force, it's all about people.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many people that join Essex Police, and maybe their strengths aren't necessarily being a frontline police officer, but they've got a degree in mathematics or have a background in social services or were a paramedic. There's always an avenue in a career for them to go down to then find and play to their own strengths. Or even if they left school, like left college and weren't sure, like me, weren't sure what they really wanted to do, and then found policing that way, then there's always, as long as you show willingness and you're approachable and you're the right kind of got the right mindset, which I suppose it counts for any job. As long as you're kind of dedicated to a certain degree, you can achieve anything. And for me, I had to dedicate myself because, so for example, for me, maths, I can't for the life of me
I
do
can
anything with it. I can't do anything. And there, to get into the police, there's a written and mathematical test that you undergo, and I applied myself to it and went back to all the old GCSE maths books and everything like that, and did my revision and ended up passing it. So there's no, like I said, there's no road closed. A bit of dedication and willingness to show that it's something you want, then there's a pathway for you.
Absolutely. And if anybody wants to find out any more information, is there a way that they can get in contact with yourself or the force, or to actually just get in contact for a conversation, because maybe it's something they've been thinking about throughout the last year about actually joining the force in some capacity?
Absolutely. There's all on the Essex Police external facing website. If you go on there, there's all information on how to apply, what outreach events are going on within your area, what departments you can speak to. I mean, now COVID's coming to an end. We're going to try so hard to get more out there and do more things like this. I know there's going to be a Q&A session after this where we've got some people who are going to answer some questions. And there's always a direct line into being able to ask us and answer questions. It wasn't so long ago that we did something similar to this, where it was open to everybody, and it was people from all different departments: firearms, community policing, traffic, etc., and you could go and ask them any question you wanted, and it was an open forum, kind of like an online event day. And we'll try and organise more of them in the future. But keep an eye on the Essex Police website, and it'll all be advertised there if anyone wants to ask any questions. And of course, I'm happy to answer any questions anybody's got.
I've seen the smile come now. Yeah, this is Essex Police website, but I'm happy to speak to you if you want to speak to me.
That's like me with emails, though. That's
we need that relatability. We need that personal approach. And I think you're an absolutely amazing asset to the force. And thank you for joining us on Like to Be. Really, really appreciate your time.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. So hopefully you're enjoying Like to Be 2021, and it's been a fantastic careers event thus far, and there's been some really useful information for parents, teachers, and carers alike to really start to look at your post-16 options after COVID. Now, it's only right that on this platform, we introduce the CEO stroke founder stroke real highlight of Like to Be, and actually the premise and the reason why it's being streamed to you right now. And he's here. I like to call him AJ, but his name is Anthony Jarman. Welcome to your very own platform.
Cheers, Julia. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. And first question: if nobody in the Chelmsford area, no one in the Essex area, has never heard of Like to Be, two things. One, what is Like to Be? And number two, why was it set up?
Let me start with the second question first. Then I guess is I left school not knowing what I would like to be. I went into college and I did public services, and then I joined the Navy and the Armed Forces because I was feeling lost. I just wanted to have a career that I thought I was interested in, and within just a couple of years, I actually got a medical discharge as being unfit for naval life. So I was suffering from depression. It wasn't right for me. And then I went on this amazing journey to, to become an adventurer and then an explorer. But I actually found that my true passion is looking at ways in which we retell or share our life journey and story with our next generation. So setting up Like to Be for me has been a dream come true as an entrepreneur. So I can maybe design something new, a better way for us to communicate and learn from. And so the pandemic has really opened, I suppose, really opened the doors in many ways in enabling digital companies to help bring across that transformation. Yeah.
So how long ago did you have the idea of Like to Be being a digital platform? Do you think it was ushered in because of COVID, or was it an idea that actually was prior COVID, but because COVID happened, that's when you wanted to put your foot down and really amplify it?
Yeah, good question. So I've been doing this style of online delivery for near enough the best part of 10 years, and connecting polar scientists with young people, and even Aboriginal cultures from the Arctic. Yeah, so I've spent a lot of time in cold places, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes. So we've connected schools in northern Canada and on Greenland. So Inuit schools with schools here in the UK. So the platform is something I've been very proud of over the past 10 years. But I think COVID has really kind of opened it up, and we've changed the functionality of the platform to help cater to deliver more online events like this one, that we're doing with Chelmsford. Yeah.
And it's nice to see you're passionate about exploration. You're passionate about, making change, and it's been there for quite some time. But to the students watching, to the parents watching, to the carers watching, I just want to know, how important is passion when you're moving forward throughout your life and having a purpose towards that passion?
Oh, I've done. So I would say that my short time in the Navy, and I'm not discounting the Navy as a career choice, because I actually think that the armed forces are amazing. But for me personally, at that time, I was in a stage in my life where it was just wrong, and that was probably one of the darkest and lowest moments of my life. So I think I found my love of travel, and then as an educator afterwards. And I'd say, biggest top tip is, whatever you're passionate about, if you can find a job, or I'm not going to say a career, because crikey, I've gone from one thing to another.
Yeah, I can relate.
There's no, so I'd say, if you can turn your passion into and make a living out of it, then you're winning at life. Yeah, full stop. Because nobody wants to spend their entire life doing a job that they hate, and suddenly life just flies by, and then you're a little bit older and you're thinking, oh, I wish I'd done it differently, or I wish I'd done something differently. So yeah, top tip, see if you can turn your passion and make a living out of your passion. Definitely.
And I think it's only because you've set up Like to Be, and it is growing strength and strength daily, to offer some advice to maybe some business students who may be watching the stream now and thinking, I really want to set up a company, but they don't know where to start. They don't know how to do it. And I know we touched upon passion and obviously making that the primary focus moving forward. But what would be your light advice in terms of becoming a founder or having an idea to then really run forward with?
Yeah. So first off, it would be, just give it a go. It's okay to fail. Crikey, I've had lots of lots of things that didn't go according to plan. So it's okay to fail as the first bit, but also like to protect yourself in the event that you do fail. So and that's really, really important in terms of running a business. So you don't, lose, your home or, or the car or anything like that. So, really have a serious think about, how you structure your startup. Always seek advice. Find a good mentor or a business startup program that offers mentorship, that can help support you throughout your your early stages, especially in your putting together your first business venture. And then the fourth top tip, there you go, there's 4 top tips here, would be if you're unsure about setting up a proper full-time business, then it's sometimes referred to as like the side hustle, isn't it? Set up a little business of an evening, where you're, it could be like selling online clothing, or it could be, something that you're passionate about, but do it as a little side project. And then if you start, if it starts generating revenue and money, and and you're having fun doing it as well, then have a think about scaling it, or do 2 or 3 at the same time. It doesn't have to be kind of the life-changing startup company that will change the world. It could just be something simple. Yeah.
And what would you like to say to professionals that are currently on the call at the moment from the Chelmsford Fair, from Essex? Because this is like an introduction to all the professionals that's really rallied around and really made this event happen and actually grow and actually get this to the students. What would Like to Be 2021 at the Chelmsford Career Fair like to say on behalf of Like to Be?
So to all of the employers, really, thank you ever so much for becoming involved and embracing this opportunity. It's been a tough 12 months, hasn't it, for us all. But moving forward, I think if any positives can come out of the pandemic, it's really looking at new ways to connect the employer world with young people, and helping them to I suppose connect the dots and see what they would like to be and how they can achieve that as well. So Like to Be is a platform that we're looking to grow and develop it, and a local employer network that can be accessible anytime, any place, anywhere. That has regular events like this taking place throughout the course of an academic year. So huge thank you for everyone who's got involved. Yeah.
Thank you. And lastly, before we go, have you got any explorations coming up? Because I know you're really into microplastics and really changing the world as such and exploring the world. Is there anything coming up that people can look out for?
So yes. So I'm an adventurer at heart. Yeah, I love travel and I love doing like new projects. So in many ways, Like to Be could arguably be the career break, of my other career. So I love expeditioning. And later on this year, November this year, we're actually doing a major project with the armed forces, where involving HMS Protector. There's myself and a team of 8 that are going down to the peninsula of Antarctica and skiing across a mountain range that has very few people have travelled on, and basically we're doing a number of different science and research projects. One of which is looking for the presence of microplastics in the snow. So microplastics a few years ago, really hit the headlines because, of course, they're in the oceans, right? They're in the rivers, but they've just discovered microplastics can go up into the atmosphere and come back down in rain and snow in the Arctic. So in Antarctica, this pristine white continent that's been untouched by, largely untouched by us. Well, actually, there might be microplastics in the snow, and then as that melts and enters the ecosystem, then how's that having an effect on the wildlife in this, truly amazing, continent on our planet? So that's a big project. It's happening, November, December, January, and into February next year, and it will be on Like to Be as well. So students will be able to engage and learn about the science and the activities of what it's like to be on an expedition to this part of the world. Yeah.
Brilliant. And we'll have a contact at the Chelmsford Career Fair that if anyone had any questions for you personally, they could go to that point of call and then obviously get in touch with you if they have any questions.
Well, this is a beautiful thing, isn't it? if anyone wants to ask me questions, and just go to my profile and Like to Be, and you can ask me at any time, any place, anywhere. So yeah, kind of get involved.
Great. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, Julia. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers, everyone.
So Like to Be 2021 is sadly coming to a close. This is where everyone starts to cry and says, no. But all jokes aside, I want you to really look at this event as a really good catalyst for your post-16 options. It's so important that you realize, despite the last year, the options are absolutely available to you, and you've got a wealth of support. And even parents and carers have that wealth of support all around them, 365 days a year, maybe not Christmas or Boxing Day, 7 days a week. But it's very important that you see that you can take this experience and you can really, really move forward. And to close Like to Be 2021, it's only right that I introduce to everybody on this stream, Sarah Jane. Sarah, how are you? You okay?
I'm great, thank you. Yeah, it's been a really exciting event, a really exciting day, yeah.
It has, it really has. And why was it important for you to run this event, regardless of the COVID restrictions, and to actually get it into a digital platform to really allow students to feel empowered about their future decisions?
Yeah, I think because we always run events, and we usually have people in the college, and we have exhibitors, we have about 80 a year, we felt that last year students have really missed out on that interaction with employers, and we wanted to give students the opportunity to really think about their future. Everybody's been on hold, they've been in bubbles, and for a lot of students, they've really struggled. They struggle with mental health, and we wanted to let them know that there are still opportunities, there are still things that they can do, and to try and kickstart their thinking and planning for the future. So yeah, we wanted this event, and because it's on a virtual platform, it's bigger than we could have ever envisaged. We managed to invite so many more people, and we thought, you know what? Let's invite everybody. Let's invite all local schools, colleges, parents. We had 2 events as well for the evening for parents, and we just wanted to get everybody thinking about their next steps and kickstart their future. So yeah, it's really, really important that students know there are still opportunities out there. There's still university places, there's still jobs, there's still things to do. I know it's been a really difficult and challenging year, but there's still things that you can do to move yourself forward and start planning your future and get everything back on track.
And what's nice is there's been a rolling theme throughout today, and it's 2 things that's really stood out, and that's about the well-being and aspirations of learners, but actually it's about the passion. Everybody that I've been fortunate to speak about, whether they've been a professional, whether they've been a student, whether they've been a practitioner, have all been really professional. Is that phone right there?
My phone going off, yeah.
That's fine, don't worry. One thing that's really been highlighted today is that, people are really passionate about giving opportunities to learners. Students have actually been passionate about their post-16 options, but actually the well-being and how you've been real champions of ensuring that learners are really signposted in the right direction. How have you found the last year in its entirety?
I think it's been really difficult. People have felt really isolated, and for students that are already, and for people that are already suffering with mental health problems, I think this has been a lot worse for them. We're social animals. We need to be out. We need to be with other people, and working on your own is really, really isolating. And I think students have struggled not being in the classroom. They struggled being without their friends and just doing normal things like hanging out, going shopping. At college is always really, really buzzing. At break times. It's always really buzzing. People are out there meeting their friends. They're outside. They're in the cafeteria. And now they're just stuck at home talking to a blank screen. And I think mental health has been a real problem. And I think it's something that's going to be ongoing. So we really, really thought it'd be great to have this wellbeing zone and really think about people's mental health and offering them support to help them move forward.
And we're really grateful that, you know, you've taken Like to Be and used this as a platform and come into partnership with us to create this brilliant event. And is it a resource that's only going to be available today, or are we going to extend it for learners so they can go back to it should they want to?
Yeah, I see this just as the start of something. I think we're going to be doing a lot more virtual things in the future. And I think what's great about this kind of event is, like, you know, if you're an exhibitor, you don't have to take a whole day off. You don't have to travel somewhere. So that means we've had a lot more opportunity for lots more of exhibitors to come. And yeah, and we're going to keep this actual event live until the end of the academic year, so that students, if they've missed out on today, they can go back, they can look at the workshops, they can still engage with the employers, because it's about creating that digital profile. It's about creating those links. It's about dealing with exhibitors and following them, because what I've said to all of our exhibitors, that their page is there indefinitely, and they can add things, they can have work experience, they can add jobs on there, and then young people can follow those exhibitors that they're interested in. They can then rewatch the work, they can watch all of our lovely live filming that we've done today, and yeah, and keep thinking and keep planning. To me, this is just the start of something that I want to build on and use in the long term.
And lastly, I think this would be a very nice way to close Like to Be 2021 at the Chelmsford Career Fair. What would you like to say to the professionals, the parents and carers, and actually the students about their future?
Oh, I'd like to first off thank all of the exhibitors and our sponsors as well. We've had some great sponsors: Anglia Ruskin University, University of Essex, and Make Happen. So I want to thank those, and I want to thank all of the students for signing in and all the parents for signing in. And just to let you know that there is help available continuously. You can contact the careers department here, you can contact the college here, you can contact us on our platform page, on our website, and just get as much help and advice and guidance as you can. Talk to friends, talk to family, talk to your neighbour, talk to your tutors, and come and talk to us, because we're here to help you. It's a minefield out there. There is actually so much choice, I think, as well. And I think people are under the impression that there's nothing after COVID. Actually, it's created lots of different opportunities, lots of different diversity, lots of different career paths. And we are still here to help. So please seek help, come speak to us. If you're struggling, you don't know what to do, that's okay. It's normal to not know what you want to do, and it's normal to try things, it doesn't work out. You know, we are here to help, and that's just the message we want to get across today. We're here to help. There's lots of opportunities out there, so let's just kickstart your future and start career planning.
Sarah Jane, can we have a round of applause for Like to Be 2021?
We certainly can.
This day. I would usually scream, but I don't want to blow the speakers. It's been a fantastic event. Remember, there are over 100 employers. There are thousands of opportunities available to you within your area. It's all about you finding out what you would like to be. My name's been Junior Saunders. I hope you really enjoyed the stream today. And remember, this is available to you till the end of the year. If you've got any questions, any queries, please feel free to reach out and ask. Until next time, that sounds so cliche. Hopefully next time, I'll be seeing you around. And remember, you can be anything you want to be. And this is the place to start. This is Like to Be. Thank you.
Thank you.